Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for SpiegelMom Scraps to share with you this layout that I created for the September 2017 SpiegelMom Scraps blog hop, or the Sparklers Design Team blog hop. I have these two pictures of my husband and my daughter on a recent trip down to Savannah over the summer, and we were at a Fort Pulaski, and I converted the pictures to black and white so that they would go with this color scheme that I chose. I have a peachy, really super light peachy colored background, and then this vellum with gold stars over it, and I wanted that to be sort of offset on the background so that I could add my elements on top of it. And I just sort of shift through these papers. I created a kit of sorts that consisted of these peach colors, pink colors, and I tried to pull in some gray as well. So I took that piece of chevron pattern paper, and I decided that I also really liked this gray to pull in that other color. And I was going to put strips down the side, and I was going to use those strips to anchor the vellum. And I'm just playing with the direction of this chevron and how I want it to go, and maybe possibly even changing the background, but really to see the gold stars on that vellum, it's best on that lighter background. I knew I wanted to fussy cut out some of those flowers from the One Canoe 2 pattern paper, because they're that same pink, and they also have the gray or that darker color in, and it ties everything together nicely. So I cut a piece of this chevron from the pink, and I had cut a thin piece at first and decided I wanted a thicker piece, and that's fine because I will no doubt use that other piece. And then I cut a piece of the gray from pink paisley and decided to stack those down the side to create a bit of a border and also to anchor that vellum down. What I didn't realize when I was using the vellum is that my Prima glue pen, it's actually a planner pen, is great on vellum. I ended up using it a fair amount to anchor things down, and you can't see that the glue is there, which is brilliant. So I was pleased to discover this little tip there, that before I even put the pattern paper down, you can't really see the glue, so that it was a fantastic discovery for me. I did use my ATG to put that long gray top, strip down, and it goes from the top to the bottom of the 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. And then this chevron piece is a little bit shorter, and I do trim off the bottom just for some variation to the paper. And I cover the longer side of that chevron so it doesn't look quite as ski-wampus as it does. So that is the basic layout there. I had thought that I would use my stapler to glue to stick down the side of the edge of the vellum, but I realized that my staples were gold and I had silver on the vellum and didn't want to mix the two, silver and gold. So I have sped this up 6 times because this is just me fussy cutting these flowers, and you all know how to fussy cut. You don't need to see that in great detail. I have these 2 flowers, and I knew I wanted to surround the picture, one on either side. My original thought was for one to be high and one to be low, and you see that I didn't like that. I have a lot of white space in the top of these pictures, and I wanted to not make that seem so endless. So I will go in later and put some things on the top of those pictures, but the flowers weren't going to be it. I like that and the way that it showcases that, but I wanted a few layers around the picture. Some of the inspiration for this layout came from the 2 sequence packets that I chose. I used Peachy Keeney and Morning Glow, and I pulled bits and pieces from each of those collections, but that Embrace Life from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans collection was what was the inspiration to pull all of these other colors, knowing that I wanted to use those 2 pieces of chipboard for the title of this layout. So unfortunately though, as I put them on the wax paper there, I couldn't make life fit and provide the symmetry on the page that I wanted. Life had too many ascenders and descenders in the letters, and so I decided to get rid of life and use some other letters for my title. But I got distracted by putting some other layers in, and I'm sorry, I had to step away there, and so I came back and it picked up at a different spot. What am I doing? Oh, I'm just building more layers behind the picture. I had pulled out that tag from my mind's eye from a party collection. And then this is a Project Life card from Maggie Holmes. I believe it's the Gather collection. And all of those cards come with the rounded corners, and I am not a big fan of rounded corners, so I have to trim those off. And I like the way that also pulls the colors together of the gray, the peach, and the pink with that those black and white photos. I slid the tag over to the right because when I had it a little bit to the left, which is what I actually prefer, there was a big empty space between the tag and the strips running down the side of it, and I wanted to merge those together so it didn't look like there was a hole there. So these are tags from Pebbles, and I use them as a layer behind the pictures. And then I thought that they would be great to put the title on, to nestle words on, because then I decided that my title was going to be from this sticker pack here, or thicker pack, moment. So I thought I would put embrace the moment, and I would put the on that label there. So I take moment off of its backing paper, and this X also came from the pink paisley chipboard, and I thought that was a nice anchor to the vellum there. But I can't have that by itself, so I found these other two X's that came with the foam thickers and thought that they would be a nicer anchor at the top there, with the white to complete the trio with the black. But I don't like that by itself, so I fussy cut out another flower, and just one from the edge because I knew I was going to put it on the edge of the page there. Use my Prima stick glue pen and anchor those there. What I end up doing off camera, so that sticker that I thought I was going to put the on, you will see in a moment that I pull off, and I end up using that sticker up by that flower where the two hashtag crosses are, and I do stamp the date on there, but I end up doing that off camera. So now I'm just have decided that I'm going to commit to all these layers and glue them all down so that I can finish my title work. I had thought about foam, but because of the two layers of the picture, they became less seamless if I raised one of the layers, and so I left the foam off the backing there. So embrace, and I knew moment, and then I had to find some letters for the moment that was going to be nestled on that label from Pebbles there. So that was me pulling the label off because I didn't like the placement of it. I wanted it to be hidden exactly behind a letter so that you couldn't see the end of the label, and it seemed more of a seamless connection there. So I have these letters from Evilicious, but they end up being too big for that label and actually darker than the other peaches and pinks that I used. So I get distracted before finishing the title and pull out my SpiegelMom Scrap sequence, and I put this lovely little cascade that connects the top left to the picture cluster with these lovely sequins. Lisa designed a lot of this new release of sequins, the September release, and her collections were based on famous artist paintings, and you can see more of that over at the SpiegelMom Scraps site. So I pulled the pinks, the peachy pinks, and just sort of arranged them. I thought I might pull a few down by the title, but I knew I wanted to journal. That's the other thing that I do off journal is I did journal in a permanent marker to the left of the picture cluster there. So I just sort of haphazardly arranged these, trying to get the grays, the dark grays, and balanced with the lighter colors so that you had that nice cascade across the page. It's almost like a Starry Night, and there is a collection to go with that Starry Night painting. So I just literally pick up the sequins with my finger, put a dab of glue from my glue applicator, and then stick the sequins back down, and it sticks to the glue. And I've learned to quickly move my way through this. And I found these gold letters from Maggie Holmes's collection, which again are perfect to complete the title, but they are too big for the label. So you could see that I pulled the label off, which I will later relocate. I need my tweezers for that little eye. And that completes the title for this layout. And I love that the gold complements the gold that is found in the vellum there. Now I still have a fair bit of white space on those pictures, so I decide to pull out a few extra sequins, and that just sort of ties that cascade of sequins down into the picture and draws your eye across the page there and sort of connects it a little better with them on the picture. So this is part of a blog hop, not a YouTube hop. So if you go over to my blog, you can find the whole list of all the gals and be eligible to win some SpiegelMom Scraps, all of the new releases for this month. If you do go shopping, if you use the code Suzanna15, as you see there, you will get 15% off your total purchase, and enjoy the close-ups. I hope you join us over the blog for the blog hop. Thanks for stopping in today. Take care.